the suicide of someone to tell your story, or if you yourself have almost ended your life, tell us about what changed. A guy is walking down the street and falls down a hole. The walls are so steep he can't climb out. A doctor passes by and the guy says, "Hey, can you help me out?" The doctor writes him a prescription, throws it in the hole, and moves on. Then a priest walks by again. The man shouts, "Father, can you help me out?" The priest writes a prayer, throws it in the hole, and moves on. A friend walks by later. The man shouts, "Hey Joe, it's me, can you help me out?" So the friend jumps down into the hole and our guy says, "What, are you stupid? Now we're both down here." And the friend says, "Yay, but I've been down here before and I know the way out." You are never alone. How can non-suicidal people understand severe depression better so we can look for signs and help our friends and family? I needed this right now. I'm high-key suicidal and just feel so alone. I want to reach out, but my mom just throws homeopathic remedies and herbal supplements at me and tells me I have nothing to be sad about because my life is good. I had no idea where to turn for help, but this is so useful and I feel ready to talk about it. Cutting this short before I go too deep into my mind, but thank you Op. I needed this. I grew up with 3 brothers. They all killed themselves. One when I was 8, one when I was 21 in Iraq, and the youngest just this November. None of them left a note. I've struggled with suicide myself since I was a child. Makes me wonder what they were going through. I think someone, preferably multiple people, should go through the thread and answer every plea for help. I can't do it. I'm only 14 and I'm afraid of saying the wrong thing. I've seen a lot of unanswered comments. I just wish every cry was answered. People try to reach out and say, "I'll help you, I'll talk to you, if you need me," but it's not enough. If you had a massive issue that you couldn't even pinpoint what it was, how would you go about telling someone about it, and asking for help? Or even when you do tell them you are having issues, and they shrug it off because they aren't in your place and they can't understand. What do you do? Nothing, you're alone. I was depressed for a little over a year, and that year felt like an eternity. I felt like a prisoner in my own mind. Depression feels like being stuck in a dark, cramped, windowless room. You can't see anything, you can't move, you're suffocating. You're panicking. There are people on the outside telling you that they will figure out a way to get you out. That they are with you. But in truth they have no idea what to do and you're not even sure if they are trying, or if they even care. People who care will actually do something about it. They will drag you out of bed, kicking and screaming to get you to a hospital, or a mental institute, or an appointment with a therapist, or psychologist. And the only reason I ever got better was because someone physically forced me to leave my house and see a doctor. And even after being denied and confused about where to find help, he spent the entire day with me, driving around town to different hospital locations to find me a psychologist. Because that's what good friends fucking do. So stop telling people that you are there just to talk, and instead actually take action to help them. People who have depression are so enclosed within their room that they can't reach out to people, and that is why people are dying from suicide. My 2 friends who both died at such an early age to depression, they were 2 of the most beautiful, kind, popular, and loving people I have ever met, and I always feel so fucking heartbroken that I didn't know what to do until it was too late. This comment will get buried, but my brother killed himself on his 24th birthday. He never left a note, and always seemed so happy. He had a ton of friends and I'll never really have an answer or closure. Not knowing why has always been the hardest part. I got treated like shit by family and friends after he died. Everyone treated me like I had some sort of contagious disease. Every time a public figure dies by suicide, I always feel sick to my stomach. In the US, the mentally ill are disproportionately ignored and stigmatized. I really wish nobody ever had to go through a loss like this. Suicide is 100% preventable, yet nobody cares. By the way, I wish there was a suicide chat line and not a hotline. I don't like speaking out loud to a person about any issues I might be having. About a year and a half ago, I almost ended my life. I went to the hospital, and came out with nothing different. I tried again and went to another hospital. I came out of that one and got a job. I think it really helped me to have something stable in my life, but I'm not going to lie and say that it's not still a struggle. Since then I've met my amazing girlfriend, but I'm still depressed and life is still hard, but that's okay. Some days I honestly do feel like trying again, but you just have to push through. No one knows the burden others carry. Don't trivialize others' pain. It may seem small to you, but it is crushing to them. We all have crosses to bear and they are all made of wood. A person from my past reaching out to me, even for 5 minutes, does exceptionally more for my mental well-being than seeing 10,000 Redditors spam the numbers for different suicide prevention hotlines. Please reach out to the people in your life. You can keep it as light as you want. We're social creatures, and even limited interaction goes a very long way. I have lived with bipolar disorder since I was a teen, now in my 40s. Crippling, depressing, overgrowing with suicidal ideation has been my normal for most of my life. My attempts have been few, but my want for death is nearly always lingering in my mind somewhere. The last 10 years are the longest I've ever gone without a concise plan, or attempt at suicide. It takes a lot of therapy, coping skills and internal work to walk through life each day, but I search for a reason and keep going. Additionally, I've had an uncle take his life with a gun and another who drank himself to death. You never know the inner demons other people fight each day. Be kind to one another, and if you know someone who is dealing with depression and or suicidal thoughts, please support and love them through it. Purple Heart. I've lost a close friend to suicide. The problem was only in his head, but the inside of his head was his whole reality. My brother hung himself 4 years ago. He had a lot, and I mean a lot, of issues piled up on him on a short period of time. The night he died, I went swimming and carried on as if nothing happened. Now, my brother, he was really fucking annoying. He was dumb as bricks and he always tried to be funny, and it was just so annoying. Over time, I found that all of these aspects of him that I found to be the most annoying and the most irritating were what I missed the most. I'd find myself crying whenever I saw two brothers going at it because I remember how we used to do the same. He was my first friend. He left behind a 4-year-old kid who I try my hardest to help raise here and there. But more than anything, I'd give everything I have to be able to talk to him again. Suicide has touched my life in so many sad ways. My younger brother was the awkward fat kid. As an adult, he struggled to find his footing. He wanted desperately to find a technology job, but the breaks that I stumbled upon somehow avoided him. A few years past his 30th birthday, he burned down the cabin he rented from our mom with himself inside. I'm tearing up right now thinking of all the cool stuff he missed out on. He would have loved it. We never got to play WoW together or fly quadcopters. I miss you, Rick. So I'm a big Dungeons and Dragons guy, and I belong to a 5th edition Facebook group. One guy posted asking us, "My DM recently died from suicide, please put him in your games." So I did. I was kiting a short game at the time and I named it after this other DM. But I went a step further and I designed a dungeon whose every aspect, every chamber, represented a different mental illness or a mental health challenge. From the kobolds in my village being shunned, the way some people with mental illness are shunned, to the first room needing to be completed in a certain pattern, to represent OCD, to having my players run through a room full of traps, to represent the long, tedious, full of bullshit path some people must walk to even access mental health services. It was all about mental health. I named almost every NPC after classmates/friends I've lost to suicide, and simply remembering these people, some for the first time in years, brought tears to my eyes. Zero and Colleen and Nat and Julian and Preston and Nick and more. If I could talk to them again, I'd say, even if we barely knew each other, if you get another go around and you have these troubles again, come find me and I will listen. And to all of you now who need it, I say PM me and I'll listen. I will not report you to the cops or to mental health professionals who will just hold you and then slap you with a hospital bill you cannot repay. I am not a licensed mental health professional. I have done mental health first aid training. I am available 24/7.